The Seekers and Georgie Girl. Now, Christmas can be a stressful time, putting up the tree, buying and wrapping presents, and making sure the dinner is on the table. And it can hit relationships hard too. But help is at hand. Life coach Darya Haitoglou is here. And welcome back to BBC Radio Nottingham.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you here. Can we begin with your story about how you came to be in Nottingham, being a life coach?
So I came to Nottingham almost a year ago, and it was a place we've chosen because of work, my husband's work, and I really enjoy living here. We have a family, and I travel around the world with workshops, but I love Nottingham. There's something about it. It has everything at your doorsteps, to fingertips, and a really, really nice and welcoming city.
Well, that's good to hear. You're a life coach.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Life, and I would say professional and personal coach.
Okay.
So I'm a psychologist as well.
Right.
And I call myself a relationship coach because this is something I believe is the most important for people. And we excel at our jobs, we create successes in our life thanks to relationship, or we don't because of them. And we know from a scientific study that when we don't have good relationship at home, it's very hard to be successful at work. And people who are successful, they don't feel happy because their families break up, because they have relationship issues. And this is why I really would like to help this type of people. Because I had my issues myself.
Oh, really? Oh, right. Well, maybe I should become a psychologist and do some work there. No, well, let's leave that. Christmas can be a testing time, can't it?
Indeed.
Explain why.
Well, we know also from the research that Christmas is stressful because of the preparation. But the most stressful time at Christmas actually is when people spend time together. I mean, it's ridiculous to say that, but it's true. Because when we go through the year and we have our time at work, we spend time away from each other, we kind of have our own worlds. But in festive times, we come together and we sort of have to spend time with our family members. Sometimes it's not very pleasant. Sometimes some family members trigger the deepest buttons in ourselves that we get triggered emotionally. And people, especially in the couples, they suffer in this relationship because after a week of two spending time together, they realize that something is not working, and this is a time to realize that it either needs to be changed or they go different ways. And divorce lawyers have the peak after Christmas. We know that. Myself, I have the busiest time of my year currently. I have booked out my sessions for the next month. So it's really tangible. And I notice it because I work every day with couples and families. So yes, it is because we're stressed, because we've been accumulating throughout the year our sort of trapped emotions, and we don't express them in a congruent way, in a very effective way, but also because we have a lot of time with each other. And I'm not saying we shouldn't spend time with each other, but there are ways how we can help ourselves to go through this period better, in a more, in a more supported way. And that's why I think I would like to share some of the practical tips on how to do that.
We'll do that in a few minutes. But I guess we're talking about people that may love each other very much still.
Yes.
But spending that time together, more time at what can be a stressful time of year. Is it a cocktail of things then that trigger this? You mentioned you're fully booked for January, and we know that divorce lawyers have a field day in January as well. Is it the whole cocktail of things that cause this to happen?
Absolutely. I think there's also a time when we reflect upon the year that we spent, we plan the following year, and this is a time when we also come in terms with who we are, what we have, how we live, what we do, and we make certain resolutions. And normally these are big resolutions, life resolutions. So we decide whether it's working for us or it's not working. So yes, it is a cocktail of things accumulated throughout the year, but also it's in a way an opportunity to look into things from a different perspective. And when we get in touch with our family, this is the most important, because the family is not by chance. I believe that we are born into families and we are connected on a deeper level with our family members. Sometimes they are the most difficult people to deal with for us, because they trigger some of the parts we don't like about ourselves. And this is a wonderful time to look into the depth of who we are.
You're talking about genetics here, that we have the same traits that might cause friction.
Yes, genetics as well as certain personality traits that we learn as we live with them, or we learn how to be different.
So far, we're painting quite a gloomy picture, Darya. We'll be back with some hope after this now from Bonnie Tyler and Total Eclipse of the Heart. All is not lost. Stay where you are. Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Your guest right now is Darya Haitoglou, who's a psychologist. I was concentrating on not saying life coach and then said the wrong thing anyway. You're a psychologist,
yes.
And specialising in relationships, amongst other things as well.
Exactly.
Okay. Before Bonnie Tyler there, we spoke about the stress that Christmas causes when people are in the same room together for long periods of time, people who've maybe lived together for decades but spend time together, the stress of it being the end of the year, reflecting, the stress of thinking about what happens next. All of those things can create, we're painting it maybe in too dark a picture here, but it can create tension. What can we do to dispel that and make sure it doesn't happen?
Well, there are a few things, very practical and simple things that people can do. And I wish I was told these things before my first marriage, but I didn't know. So it took me 15 years to learn this. But some of them are very simple. For example, we can breathe in the same rhythm as our partner. And with that, not only do we understand each other better, but actually we don't need words. So what people can do when they feel stressed or when they have that emotion kind of popping up, maybe it's anger or sadness, when you approach your partner, just look into their eyes and without words, just tune into their breathing, seeing how their shoulders kind of lift and go down. And try to tune in to their breathing pattern and see what happens. It's this little exercise creates magic in relationships.
Does it?
Yeah, very few people actually know about it, unfortunately. But my clients do, and those who practice, they stay together.
So you look into their eyes, you look at their shoulders, and you practice breathing in the same rhythm.
Yes.
And it's like the magic silver bullet.
From the research we know about neuroscience, we have mirror neurons. And we don't understand each other because we have different, let's say, neurology. People sometimes don't understand. A man doesn't understand a woman because a woman has all the emotions inside her. A man wants, more logical things, for example. But once people start breathing in, there is something happens between them that is, I call it magical, because it does create an effect. They create non-judgmental space because you cannot judge when you just tune in into breathing. You're moving away from your thoughts towards your body and you start noticing what happens inside your body when you breathe. And a lot of the time, tension happens when we talk, when we express things. So the second thing that I always say, don't express your thoughts, express your feelings. And that is a very powerful one because when we express our feelings, for example, I feel lonely or I feel judged or I feel not respected, I feel sad, it's very hard to judge a feeling. A feeling belongs to a person. But that also creates an opening for empathy when people start understanding, I didn't realize that. I thought you were blaming me. I thought you were saying I'm bad. I thought you were trying to hunt me down, to chase me, to hurt me.
Okay.
But actually, people do that to protect themselves. So by opening up and saying, look, I'm hurting, I talk about my feelings, this creates a dialogue on a different level, and breathing helps.
But doing this without blame, really, because it's very easy to say, I'm hurting, and the implication is, you're hurting me.
Yes, this is crucial, because most of us, we try to protect our own self by projecting and either fighting, blaming, or freezing, so pretending nothing happens, we kind of withdraw from a difficult situation, or we retreat. We move away, we disappear. And that doesn't help to connect, doesn't help to enrich relationships. Actually, when a woman stops talking in a relationship, that's kind of a kiss of death, because long term, a woman cannot not talk and express her feelings. So it's very important to create intimate moments where a couple or a family would talk about their feelings and have space, non-judgmental space, to be able to do that. That is crucial for health of family, health of for relationships.
So could all this be turned on its head then? Because you've got this time to share over Christmas. So instead of channeling this negative energy and this friction, could it be turned into an entirely positive experience? So not just one where we cope through Christmas, but one where we actually come out of it feeling better.
And that's beautiful. So one of the most powerful techniques that people can use is when they wake up, the first thing in the day, instead of talking about what needs to be done, logistics, blaming and claiming, people can just talk about 5 positive things that they feel grateful for. And they can express that either in writing or, sending an email or just sharing it with their partner, with their kids, with their parents. And don't talk about anything negative, just 5 positive thoughts and see what happens. The effect is amazing. Like if a person can sustain at least 5 days without blaming someone, just sharing positive things, even little things. For example, I feel grateful for a sunshine today. I feel grateful that I've managed to do this yesterday. I feel thankful to you that you lifted that bag for me, whatever it is. But the little thought that expressed in a word of gratitude and appreciation makes wonders.
Little things mean a lot.
Yes, especially when they're positive.
Yes. You're running a course. We mentioned earlier that the week, the 6th of January, that kind of time, is the low point of the year. It's where all sorts of bad things start to surface. And you're running a course exactly at that time.
Well, I figured out that this is the time when people need it because myself included, I wanted something that could help me to learn these strategies because no one teaches us at school or university. Even at home, we all come from dysfunctional families. I know in my practice, I work with colleagues around the world, and I haven't met 100% functional family yet. So we all need a little bit of help. And I've created a course that's called Enrich Your Relationships. It is an online course and people can find out about it by just sending me an email. And it is a wonderful way to learn these strategies, really tips and tricks on how to go through the tough periods of their life and sustain relationship, because breaking up is always an option, but it's a very painful one and expensive.
Can you speak from experience?
Yes, exactly. So I would always check with a psychologist before going to a lawyer.
How do we find details about this course then, Darya? What do we do?
You can send an email to info@daryahaitoglou.com. If you can put a note, or can I spell it?
We'll do that later.
Okay.
We'll put it on the Facebook page and get it out there
Okay.
on the website. We'll do that for sure. Darya Haitoglou, good to have you here. Thank you so much for calling in. Good luck with Christmas. It sounds like you're going to have a very busy New Year as well.
Indeed.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. All the best to everyone.